Imagine being a 28-year-old social media influencer with millions of followers. You appear to live a somewhat glamorous lifestyle filled with travel, brand deals, and adoring fan base. However, you also feel an intense pressure to maintain an online image, and you can't help but find yourself constantly comparing yourself to other influencers. Despite the admiration and opportunities you get, there is a nagging sense that your life is hollow. You even struggle with feelings of inadequacy and loneliness. The curated perfection of your online persona exacerbates the dissatisfaction that you actually experience in your real life. Welcome to life dysmorphia, the concept that someone can have a permanent sense of dissatisfaction despite having many objective indicators of success and well-being. Just like in body dysmorphia, where someone can't help but obsess over the illusion of flaws in their appearance, although they might well be objectively good looking, life dysmorphia is not just for social media influences, but our society at large has some life dysmorphia issues. Humans have an innate urge for upwards comparison and mimetic desire to aspire what others have. Whether you are a successful banker or entrepreneur, or even someone struggling to get a job on minimum wage, we can't help but be comparing ourselves. Especially with social media these days, we see this fake version of joy and success all around us, where it feels like everybody has better finances, better holidays, better relationships than us. As we grow up, we are sold this concept that we can be as successful as we can possibly dream, and yet our reality is much less impressive. Desire is a contract with yourself to be unhappy until you get that desire. But social media, advertising, and our innate human nature are all built to jack up our desires higher and higher forever. And yes, I know that most people don't really need a lecture about gratitude because it seems so trite and generic, but I'll try and give you some ideas that aren't along the standard lines of just write a few grateful things down each day. And just because it's important, I think the hedonic treadmill is one of the worst parts of human nature, and working to get yourself off the constant race for new desires is the best thing you can possibly do for your mental health. It's crazy to think that 200 years ago, 1 in 3 children that were born in the UK died before they were 5. And that means that almost every single person that you know having kids would have one of their child die. That is insane. Nowadays, the mortality rate is over 100 times lower. Having your child die is no doubt one of the most traumatic experiences a human can experience. But pretty much everyone used to have it. Yet here we are now in the modern day, stressing out about the fact that our job in marketing isn't quite our calling, or maybe we don't have the latest phone model yet, and it's really terrible for us. You might not know that hot showers only became common practice in the 1960s in England. Imagine only having the option of a cold shower in the middle of winter when you're also down about your social status. Jimmy Carr, who coined the term life dysmorphia, says that when you stand in a hot shower, try and remember that no one you admire from over 100 years ago had easy access to a hot shower. In fact, our access to food, medicine, education, entertainment, travel is so inordinately better than it has ever been in history. It's hard to even imagine what it was like when we could have all been easily killed by a plague, a famine, an invading Viking, or a well-meaning doctor who thought that draining you of all your blood would be a really sensible and good healthcare decision for something as simple as the common cold. Nowadays, we do truly live in incredible times. If we do feel the desire to compare ourselves to the fake lives of the 1% on social media, we might want to compare ourselves to the 99% of the 100 billion humans that have ever existed and who mostly lived a terrifying existence compared to what we have now. In fact, all of us in the first world are in the 1% with the incredible life. Something else that Jimmy Carr said is that life has never been objectively better and yet felt objectively worse. How happy you are is based on your quality of life minus envy. Wanting things that you don't have makes you unhappy. And so it's the ability for ourselves to be grateful for what we do have is, in fact, the art of being content. And a really great story for me that makes this point perfectly is in 1961, Joseph Heller published Catch-22, which was a best-selling novel of the times and is still popular today. He was at a party of a billionaire hedge fund manager when not only but Kurt Vonnegut comes up to him and points out that in just one day, the billionaire whose party they were at had made more money than Joseph or Kurt had ever had with all of their book sales. Joseph Heller responded to this intriguing data point and said, "Yes, but I do have something that he will never have. Enough." And the word enough is a perfect summary of the problem. In society, there is no limit of what enough could entail. With increasing numbers of billionaires in the world and people who seem to have arrived at this dreamlike, perfect situation in life that we want, and it's so easy to desire a bigger house, a faster car, a remote lifestyle, or a bigger bank account, but you will never have enough if you look at the world like that. So, do whatever works for you to stop raising your desires. A good place to start is limiting social media and spending more time outside. And I think it's just so easy to forget how short life is. Warren Buffett is worth $133 billion. He's also 93. There's no chance that a sane human would trade their current life with him. $133 billion is useless if you're about to die. Considering that I am 33, he's 60 years older than me. Based on the maths of $133 billion for 60 years of life, that means that each year I'm alive, it's worth $2.2 billion to me. And very well, it might be the same for you too. And hopefully that's a little cool reason to be positive. And so this episode is just here to challenge you to find some reasons to try and get off the hedonic treadmill, and instead of looking for more, look for what you can appreciate, like the fact that your next year of life is actually worth $2.2 billion to you. On the topic of challenges, I have decided to start challenging myself to start making one episode a week that is just short and to not go over that. And it really doesn't come naturally to me, but this is the end. So I would just like to give a cheeky reminder that I am currently taking calls from anyone and everyone, so do check out the link in the description if you want to chat with me on a Wednesday. And I do really appreciate feedback. If you thought this was good and you like the format, let me know. Remember that life is too short to think that your good life is bad. So be kind to yourself, go climb a tree, and don't forget to smile at strangers.